What? Oh, here it is. It's right up there. That can go there. Good afternoon. What's there? Okay. That's gotta come up here. I'm gonna go put my shamrocks back in the window. Good afternoon. Okay, that can go back here. And my rock can go over there. Just organizing my desk. Seeing what is a priority on the office work side of things. I do want to do that. Yeah. Okay. I need to do that too. I'm going to set that one right there. And I'm going to send that one right there. How's everybody today? That's there. Let me see this here. Oh, that was a good question to put down. I'll set that over there. Put my stapler back here. Hi, Ori. How are things on your end of the world today? Things are very peaceful here around the homestead. I'm doing some work around the house, desk work, house chores, and then I'm going to head to the river. How are things over on that side of the world today? Yes. The time zone difference things just can really be a hit and miss. Let me see, where should I put that down? Let's see. Yes. So Chaori says all is well on this side of the world. That's France. What part of France? Just a minute. Paris. What time is it again where you are? Like right now, we're at 1:30 in the afternoon. And it looks beautiful outside. I'm really gonna be looking forward to going to the river. It's there. I think I'll set that one there. Oh, right, we gotta put that here. So I'll go there. Okay. I'm going to work on this today. Ooh, let's see. Yeah, I'll do that tomorrow. So tomorrow, that's the number one thing I have to do when I wake up. I should have done that today, but I'm going to do it tomorrow. Hi, Blue. Oh, hang on. Where's that paper? I watched the video. And they recommended in that video that you've been so patiently nudging me to watch: ginger, oregano, rosemary, turmeric, and garlic. I always do ginger. I always do ginger. I've got rosemary essential oil, which I love. I'll put it in my bath. Oh, it's just great for breathing. Turmeric is good, but I always find I get better results with ginger for some reason, even though they say turmeric is the better of the two. And garlic I try to avoid. I love garlic. A friend of mine, we were doing whole garlic cloves once, just chewing them up, eating them. I think we stunk for a month. But damn, were we healthy. Yes, and thank you for slowly nudging me into watching it. If you keep reminding me, then I can prioritize something. Thank you for recommending it. Hi, Scottish Lass. Yeah, today we've just been chatting and it's very peaceful. I'm working around the house and at the desk cleaning up, and then in a few hours I'll head to the river. How are you today? Oh, there's Bushmen too. Oh my goodness. Um, I thought you were out of the service area or something. Um, Hi, Lass. So we got Blue. Hi, Lass. Did you receive the comments I left on your channel? Yes. So Scottish Lass says, just take it easy, Julie. And that's what I pretty much do every day. I sort of put everything into sleep, nutrition, exercise, connect with positive energies, talk to my family, and then every day just don't overdo it, just do little bits, and it's going well. Okay, so you have Blue. No, sorry, I never checked. I'm so slow. I'm terrible. Yeah, I'll check after the live. Yeah, and that's another thing I include in my daily routine is I have a certain window where I go in and respond to everybody's comments. Sometimes it can take a couple days. Thank you for all the hearts. You don't know if what works. You mean the list of health food? Thank you for all the hearts. Do you mean the list of like ginger? Ginger really works. And right now on the roof of my mouth, I've got spruce. I don't even know if you could see it, but I'll show you. Where did I put that thing? Oh, here it is. This here is spruce sap. It's a big gob. It's got a little bit of wood and stuff in it. But I just go in and I just take a little bit on a fork. I stick it on the roof of my mouth and it'll just sit there all day. If you have any phlegm or just great. If you want to sing and your voice is a bit hoarse, just take a little bit of this. Leaving comments on her channel seems to be a new feature I never tried. Or are you talking about Scottish Lass, Blue? Oh, and can I call you Umro? Hi, Umro. Welcome. Scottish Lass says, you are a cute bundle of information, Julie. I love it. Oh, thank you. And Umo says, thank you, Scottish Lass. Sumro. Right. Okay. Oh, right. You said the 7 is an S. I remember. Okay. I had an epiphany there. It came back to me. You've told me that before, that the 7 is an S. Sumro. Okay, so Sumro. everyone. Oh, thank you, Blue. Thank you for the thumbs up, and thank you. Thank you for all the hearts. How's everybody's day going? I'm just finishing up in the office, a few things around the house, and then I'm heading to the river. Okay, so my autocorrect is driving me crazy right now. Oh, okay, I see. Because yes, you're retracting messages. How's your back today? Scottish lass. I'm going to put this on here. I'm going to do these two things tomorrow. Okay. Okay, so you're lying in bed with my dog beside me. What kind of dog? You probably already told me. Tell me again. Tell me again. Maggie. Okay, so your back's been really good today. And you wrote down, or you wrote that down the other day, vetiver? If you're going to get essential oil. Thank you for all the hearts. Okay, that's right. So the white boxer. We have Mrs. Cruel now, Scottish lass, and she lives in Philadelphia, and she's on the team now too as a moderator. Yeah, thank you for all the hearts. What was brilliant? Did I miss something? Have a good, oh, Bushman's gone. Have a good day, everyone. Losing reception, that's Bushman. Bye, sweetheart. Okay. Okay, so what did... Oh, sorry. All right, yeah. Hello. Yes, and I think I might get the one more right now that I if she comes on, Crystal. We'll see if she's up to it. Yes, building a nice team. And so and now I'm working with my sister right now. She's going to help me this weekend. Because now that I'm monetized, there'll be a certain percent of, and it doesn't matter if there's no income at all. I mean, this is a fun place to be, but if there's a certain amount of income, I'll be sharing that percentage with my mods. And even my sister who's helping me, I've hired her. What was I saying? Because this is my second day being monetized is the word. And so I got a hold of my sister and I'm hiring her to help me sort of do the percentages. I haven't seen Crystal since. She left me a few messages on a few of my videos, but I didn't really want to ask her there. I kind of like to, when people pop on here, I like to ask them as we build the team. Yeah, she's everything flowing good. Yeah, she does that for a living. And so like right now, you live, I told her, I said, when my one mod lives in Scotland and my other mod is in Philadelphia. And so as things grow, I said, I need to know how to do payments out of country. And so this weekend, she's going to sit with me and just every weekend we'll do a little something. I let her know that you guys, we're all volunteering right now. Bushman donated $100 yesterday, so my sister and I are going to break that down. It's going to be kind of silly because it'd be like, okay, well now you're going to get $5 and I get $5, and YouTube get 30% or whatever it is, right? But that's sort of how it starts, and it's a really good learning opportunity for me. And so we're just what am I trying to say? Well, just other than my sister's going to show me how to break that down, and then we're going to learn how to, when I'm paying somebody for their value that they bring to the team, that she's teaching me how to do it, pay out of country. So it's good. It's good for my brain. I don't play any games on my phone whatsoever. So doing these kind of things is really good for the brain to build new pathways. And so I don't waste my time playing games on the phone, but I look at this as a really good exercise for me to exercise my brain learning something new. Yeah, no, I work a little bit differently. Julie, I'm not wanting anything. I enjoy this. Yeah, no, I realize how it goes on YouTube. But there's just a certain way I'm gonna, if you could help me to sort of swing it this way, then there's sort of a bigger picture that I'm looking at right now. And yes, I understand that. I don't feel right about that. I don't feel right about that. I feel when you build a community, nobody is successful without a group of people. Like I just got monetized. I didn't do that by myself. I did that because I was surrounded by people that lifted me up and encouraged me. I guess she do that only because she is a pure person, true, and who cares, and kindness all the time. I am kind and honest for sure, but this is a mental health advocacy program that I'm building that I'm working to build for our new generations coming in to give them a voice. I'll give you an example. Tony, I didn't know about sundown towns, and Tony taught me this. So sometimes it just provides a platform for the voice of the people. And so I realize that you said I don't have to do that Scottish Lass, but if I could ask you if you would allow me to do that, then while my sister's helping me, I would really appreciate that. And because I can see the big picture of where things are going right now and where this platform is heading over the next 5 years. So it is kindness, it is honesty, but I'm building a mental health program where people's voices can be heard. Just you take your time with everything, see how things go. You will need the money to build the channel up. I do it because I want to help. And yeah, well, you're helping other people as well right now. You're helping me and you're helping other people. Now, my sister's going to teach me all that. She's already talked to me and she said, so you pay for your phone, you're running this and this and this, and she's going to help me break it down into certain numbers. I know this is uncomfortable for people to talk about. People don't like to talk about that part, but I just wanted to make it clear sort of where I'm going. And you would be doing me a huge favor if you would just sort of allow me to send you small amounts, break down. I mean, there could be no donations at all, and that's great. But if there is, I'm going to be breaking it down into the team because we're going to build the team, and it's going to be a platform for the voice of people for empowerment. And so I guess I could ask you even just humor me right now and let me send you a $3 check. Because that's probably all it is right now, considering everything. But I really appreciate that. You'd be doing me a huge favor to sort of help me with what I'm actually looking to build over the next 5 to 10 years. Okay. Okay. Well, that makes it a little bit more complicated for me, but that's okay. Just be honest, speak your mind. See, I'm a little bit baffled now. Okay, I know what to do. No, I don't know what to do. Well, maybe I'll work on this for a bit because I just feel baffled about that. Okay, I know what to do. Okay, it took me a bit. My brain had to kick into gear. Okay, what did I do wrong here? Okay, all right. Took me a little bit to sort of figure out. Okay, I see what I've done wrong. Okay, I've talked with Ms. Cruel yesterday. and she's going to try to connect. Let me write this down. Okay, yeah, see, but this is why this is good. Okay, because okay, so WhatsApp. I'm going to write this down because I just sort of felt like, okay, what did I just do wrong here? Okay. Okay, so Mrs. Cruel is going to talk to me through WhatsApp. And then, okay, all right. I'm going to ask you a question right now, Scottish Lass. Because with my modulators, I'd like to set up where I could talk. Now, you don't have to do this. At this point, Mrs. Cruel she said that she would talk to me through WhatsApp. And so she's working on that today. And so I probably shouldn't have been talking about this. Probably I should have just talked with my mods privately on this. Because right away I'm thinking I did something off here. Would you consider talking in a group chat with all mods and myself? Or not? And I just, okay. Okay, so I understand. I will give it a thought. Okay, so you'll give it a thought. Okay. Okay. See, because I'm not actually trying to earn an income on YouTube either. I'm just trying to make the structure work. I'm part of it. So I'm just covering my expenses. And it's just a team where if there is income, it just helps with the cost for everybody to help. And we're just really trying to help other people. So whatever I earn, it's like I throw it back into the advocacy work I do is the way I look at it. Okay, so you will consider it. I really appreciate that. Okay, so okay, I'm going to go back up here. Okay, so yeah, just you take your time with everything. So see how things go and the money to build the channel up. Yeah, because I'm working on a foundation. So if there's costs, I just want to share that up with whoever brings the value, like yourself and Mrs. Cruel, and possibly, well, there's going to be, I like about 6 mods altogether. Right now I have 3 people that that bring the value that I was looking for. Okay, so just a minute. Okay. Just take your time, okay. Yeah. So if there's anything earned, it's for the advocacy work, for just making. I understand. I will give it a thought. Oh, that's a good answer. Okay. But I would like to help you with that. Yeah. Okay, that sounds wonderful. Thank you. Well, and I got monetized because of all the support I got. Today's day 85 of my live streaming document for my medical team. And it was just all the support that I got. It's the people that got me here. I didn't get here by myself. It's amazing you got monetized. Congratulations. Put the first payment back to the channel. Then we can see with the rest how it goes. Yeah, and even right now, like, I think the less is more. Like, it's just we got that one beautiful donation yesterday by Bushman, and it would be almost good if we got nothing else in just this next month. If you just had something like about $100 to work with, so that I could just learn how to bring the team together and see how we accommodate everybody for their value and costs, and then you just keep it going. And just so to me, less is more right now. In fact, I think it's just I've got that one thing to work with, and I just want to work with my sister and just see how I would manage that. Okay, yeah, because I take care of my own finances here. Like I'm not like, oh, I need money. I'm pretty good at managing my own. I don't overspend. I'm not looking like it's not like I'm in a, oh, please help me. It's not what this is. So I'm not looking to earn income on YouTube. I'm looking to build this advocacy program here, this platform. I'm excited for you for the future. Yes, I'm excited for all of us. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about Tony. So Tony is a truck driver, and he says he's from Africa. And there's towns apparently in the United States that after the sun goes down, nobody will talk to you if you're black. And so Tony came on and he's telling us about this, and I'm like, I've never heard of that. So not only did Tony tell me that, Tony also shared on some of my videos, not my live streams. He made some comments on what he does to get through just all the challenges he has to get through with the, what's the word? It's prejudice, but it's racism. And so just him talking to me with what was happening to him sort of even helped me think about ways to manage challenging situations. And so without this platform and me talking just about how to empower people, Tony came forward and said he could relate to some of the things I'd gone through. And then I'd never heard of a sundown town in my life. I mean, I thought that was way back in the 50s that people did things like that. And so sundown towns are exaggeration, really. I live in what's considered one of the most sundown towns in the US, and it's not like you're told. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I sort of have some thoughts on that, but thank you, Blue. So that's a sundown town. Supposedly, where anyone who is not white has to be out of town by sundown, or they don't talk to you. Okay, so we got some feedback here where Blue feels that it's exaggerated. And I know, I just want to share my perspective on that because of what I've survived is sometimes that's often a power play that organized bullying does. You gaslight the person that's being bullied that it's not quite what you're saying. I'm not saying that's you could be 100% right, Blue, but with my experiences, I think a lot of times in organized where power plays and somebody gets the extra hand, that's often what is said is that it's imagined or it's exaggerated. And from my experience, that type of gaslighting just says it's not true and it's the other person. I think it could be both. I think any time in life you have to look at both sides, and sometimes things are exaggerated. But I also know, like just from your statement, Blue, that I've from my personal experience and even watching what other people go through, that a lot of times we gaslight people in bullying, and with devastating results. And so the person is not only being bullied, but now they're being told it's not happening. And so you just have to, like Tony was explaining to me, even just sort of what you just said. And so Tony's got these skills that you can't change that, but hey, I'm still truck driving. I show up, I get through. There's been a lot of challenges, but I get through. So, um, but this is what this channel is, a big part of what it's about. Okay. Supposedly, where anyone who is not, okay, yeah. Yeah, so in Scottish Lass says, well, that's really messed up. But on Blue's point, he thinks it's exaggerated. And see, now, these are what we call conversations. So you don't, and this is what this channel is. This is the platform. This is what I want to build, where each person can have a different perspective on things. And you don't really cancel out either side, but both places get to make an argument. And that's where I feel like, even in my community, since I've started doing the live streams, because one of the things that organized bullying is just empowered by is isolation and exclusion. So if they can do it where nobody can see, there's a lot of power to that. Once I went live, was that ever a game changer in my community on the challenges that I had to get through? And that's really sad from my perspective. I just think, okay, but we've got two perspectives here. Take care. See you again. Bye, Sumro. The reality is, a lot of Black people think everything is about skin color. They hate all whites. On a percentage basis, Black people in the US have more hatred towards whites than vice versa. Okay. And see, this is, again, we have a few perspectives going on. And that, when I'm building this platform, this is what I'm creating here. Is like, I'm not going to go, oh, well, geez, you don't think the same as me, I'm going to get rid of you. No. It's like, how do we coexist with different opinions? Because we're not all going to think the same. And viva la difference. I think it's wonderful that we all are different. We all have different skin colors. We all can have different religions and different points of view. We had different environments, different upbringings. And so how do we come forward, instead of just saying, oh, no, it can only be this, it can't be that, it can't be anything else? How do we coexist and be able to put problems on the table and then find a way to work that we all need to eat, we all need a place to sleep, we all want our health, we all want to have social interactions. We're all from Earth, no matter the color of our skin, no matter the religion, we're all from Earth, we're all people. And so how do we coexist? Because, see, Blue, you and I are having this conversation, and Scottish Lass has said, like, she'd never heard of it before. She's hearing a little bit about how I see it and what I'm learning, and she's hearing what you're saying. And now her perspective could be totally different than both you and I. And it's not about canceling out one or the other. It's about, for me, it's about coexisting and realizing we all have the same needs as human beings. So how do we coexist? And it's good if you think you're going to change the other person's mind. Well, now you like arguing. You can't. But us having these conversations, people that join in or listen in, it gives you the opportunity to see the other perspectives without canceling any one of them out. And then, so what can you learn? If you need my help, I'll be happy to, but for free, don't want any help. Oh, We have a gentleman in Ori. Um, would you consider being a mod? Like I've known you long enough now. You're very kind. I can tell you know you're intelligent. Um, yeah, okay. Now, and I'd be honest with you. Like I'm not just gonna make anybody a mod. I get to know people first, and each mod's gonna be a little different. And I'm creating space where they can even say, "Oh, I disagree with you, Julie." And that's what I want to create the space where it's okay if we disagree with each other. We don't know what's it that Mrs. Cruel said yesterday when I made her a mod. She said, "What were the rules?" And I said, I've already observed who you are. I know who you are. Now just and you're here, and I'm making you a mod because you showed me who you are, and you're and I have a lot of respect for you. So just be yourself, and um, you're not gonna do everything the way I do, but yeah, even if I really like somebody and they're a good friend, but they don't have quite this certain skills or ability with people, um, it's the value they bring is to the discussion, but they may not be quite right as a mod, and that's okay because not everybody is a modulator. Okay, and make see and okay, what did she say? Um, okay. Okay, so Blue says Tony sounds like he's either lying or paranoid. And I think from my experiences, yeah, I don't see Tony that way, but um, I really value that you're really saying your perspective, Blue. So from your perspective, Tony sounds like he's either lying or paranoid. Yeah, and that's one of the things that I have a letter that's going out to the patient care quality office in Prince George because of the misdiagnoses I went through and the treatments that were forced on me. And one of the things that will be in the letter is that very often we use mental health labels as weapons to control people. So if someone comes forward, and this is just my perspective, and and this isn't in all cases, I'm just sharing my experience in some cases, that if you're influential or you're seen as a threat, that quite often now people will use those words, oh, she's paranoid or she's lying. And I've been able to prove that wrong, but it took a lot of work. And from my point of view, like when you say he's either lying or paranoid, I want to use the word paranoid. So that is actually a mental disorder. So if someone comes to me and says, nobody will speak to me after sundown, nobody will even talk to me. And then somebody comes in and says, oh, they're paranoid. If they really are paranoid, that's actually a mental disorder. So say they're not being bullied, but they're paranoid, I wouldn't be like, oh, you're paranoid. I mean, because I'm a skill trainer, I did that for a job, so I could do assessments on people and I could build programs for people. I mean, I'm on the honors roll at the college for the courses I took for that. I've had jobs, I've built programs. So if I'm doing an assessment and somebody says to me, oh, there's a sun downtown, and when I come through, they won't talk to me, and then they start talking to me about what they do. If they are actually paranoid and it's not true, my response isn't, oh, you're paranoid. My response would be, that's a mental disorder, and that has got to be very painful for you. And so for me to be snotty towards that person, if they were legitimately just paranoid, if that's what it was, I would have the same empathy for that I would if they were actually being bullied. And so what I find, and from my experience, is too often if someone's going, you're just paranoid. If they really are paranoid, why does that make you angry? That'd be like someone that doesn't have a leg and they won't walk like everybody else, and they're just like, oh, you just think you need a amputee special design to walk, right? You wouldn't say that to them. You'd be like, oh yeah, well, let's get something for their legs so they can walk. And so with you saying they're lying or paranoid, first of all, I want to go, why would they lie? And second of all, I'd be like, if they really are paranoid, I'm going to have empathy for that person, because that would be a mental illness or some kind of chemical imbalance in their brain. So I'm not going to be snotty towards that person. I'm going to be able to evaluate that and then build a program to sort of meet them where they're at, because it's just how my brain works. And so I just wanted to say that if that is the fact and they're paranoid, I wouldn't be angry at that person. I would be like, oh, that must be horrible. If nobody's actually doing that to you, but you feel it, you really feel that. I mean, they would be legitimately scared, whether it was real or not real. And that's how I would work with the person or the individual. Okay, thank you, Scottish Lass. Oh, Bird Shaman, thank you for the beautiful message you sent me on the day where I had sort of shared my experience. And yes, I agree with you, like it's water under the bridge. Now I'm sort of just talking generally and creating the platform for conversation. And I took a screenshot of the messages you sent me. They were profoundly a pivotal point for me. And I screenshot them so that I can read that every once in a while. I can't even find the words to tell you just how well written that message was. And I just had to take a screenshot so every once in a while I can go back and read over that. It's great to see you, Bird Shaman. It's hard to hear about things like that. I didn't realize that is still going on. And Scottish Lass, one of the things that I'm really learning on being on YouTube is living in Canada, even though it was the turn of the century where the organized bullying really just, like, I'd never seen that before. And what I've noticed from being doing live streams, I was talking to a soldier in Israel. He was 18 years old. That was about 2 weeks ago. And I wasn't quite understanding and able to follow what they were saying to me. And I thought they were a scammer at first, but then I realized, no, they were struggling with English to talk to me. And they say, oh, well, you just don't care. And then I was like, oh, well, maybe this is really legit. And I started really trying to listen to this individual. And they were telling me what it was like in Israel, being 18 years old and being in the Israel's defense force. And I said to them in that moment, I said, we are all living in a different reality. So like Scottish Lass just said right now, she didn't realize that. Well, same, I'm in Canada. Like, Canada's very passive aggressive, now. And but still, I'm not walking out the door thinking I might get shot. I mean, that could change because the world's changing. I mean, we're in World War III right now. It's very passive aggressive World War III. And so they're slowly just marching us into it, slowly, slowly, every decade, just slowly reprogramming us instead of, it's just a really different kind of war that we're in. But when I talk to certain people around the world, like even my friend Urshad in Pakistan, and just learning of the oppression, that you wake up every day wherever you are and you think that's your reality. You think the whole world is like this. And living in Canada, and having these experiences with people around the world, I realized that how lucky I was to be born in Canada, even with the problems that we have. And so I can really relate to what you just said. I didn't realize that those things still go on. So sundowning, I've heard stories when the 50s, you weren't allowed into the restaurant to sit with the white people. I mean, I thought we were so far beyond that. Okay. What's your thoughts on that? I live there. I think I know more about it than others. I live in Vidor, Texas. Yeah, so you have a perspective that I don't. But one of the gifts I have, and this is where I sort of freak people out, is I can always kind of go in and figure out what's going on. And so, like right now, I'm not where you're at, so I don't get to see the dynamics, so my brain doesn't really get to break down what's really happening. Is someone just paranoid? Is this legitimately abuse? Is this really bullying? But if I can go into an environment and I can just read the people, and it's just a process, and all of a sudden, boom, okay, this is what's going on. I can call it out, and then I'm a game changer. I can make it happen. And that's sometimes why I do get attacked, is because I rock the boat. I balance power, and I think it has a lot to do with just being born with the autistic brain and the dyslexic brain, that my brain just operates so differently. And I'm working so hard to kind of figure, like, why is everybody else is just doing this and I'm trying to figure out how to do just that. And so it's why it's not like I just wake up in the morning and go, oh, I want to be a power balancer. No, I'm coming into the world trying to figure out, where do I stand? How do I make my way? And then when I see other people suffering, I just have this way of going in and balancing out the power. But that hasn't come without backlash. What's your thoughts on that? So you live there. And so, I mean, that's a really good point, that you live there, so you're in that energy. And I'm not there, and that's a good point. Blue, is there anyone in the town you live that's a bit racist at all that way, or is there no one thinking that way? That's a really good question, Scottish Lass. Yeah. Well, that question really brings something valuable to this conversation. Yeah, I'll just pause on that because that was a question for Blue. And then Blue, you never even lived in the USA. That's true. Yeah, that's true. I don't think you're in a position to say I'm gaslighting. And thank you. Like right now, you see, I'm allowed to talk, and you can't tell me to stop talking, but you can say, you can dish it right back at me. No, that's called a conversation. I don't think you're in a position to say I'm gaslighting. Okay? And one of the words I often use is that sometimes we have to agree to disagree if we're all going to get along. And so when I'm going in and I'm programming for something, whether it's for a person or for a group, like when I drove a Greyhound bus and I'm managing a number of people, different ones every time, you have to, sometimes you have to agree to disagree. There has to be a lot of compromise. And so thank you. Like, so you're giving it back to me, and I'm saying what I think. And this is what I'm trying to teach, is that I just think what we've lost is there's certain groups that gain the power and then they just dominate. No one's allowed to speak. And if you do speak, you're speaking behind closed doors. And then when you leave, they just twist whatever you said into what they want. And then they're writing history. And it's, from my perspective, so far off. And it's been quite a experience that I've had to learn how to hold my own ground. And somebody said to me the other day, with all the challenges that you do have, it actually made you better at defending yourself. And I'm thinking, yeah, it sure did. And it also helped me defend a lot of other people as well. So as much as I don't like the fact that I have white matter brain damage, I don't like the fact that the chemo affected my ability to remember things. And also I get chronic exhaustion after the chemotherapy that just hasn't lifted. I have to manage it. You're right. You come out of that much wiser. And I've learned how to write an email, and now I'm live. And these things are game changers. But I had to learn all these things the hard way. Okay, so Blue, I think Julie is trying to see both sides of it. Yes, and even Scottish Lass. Because what did she say up here? She said, is there, like, even that one question, Blue, is there anyone in your town you live with which is a bit racist at all? And I think really what Scottish Lass, what she's trying to identify, at least from my perspective, is this black and white thinking? That no, nobody's racist? Or is it, yeah, some of it's over exaggerated, but some of this is really true? And so I really love that question, because it sort of is asking Blue, do you see that there is even an extent that there's this racism there at all? Or are you just like, no, it's like black and white? A lot in life can be solved with boundaries. Absolutely. And oh boy, did I ever learn that the hard way. Yes, boundaries. A lot can be solved by not cutting ourselves paper lions. Oh, explain that. I've never heard of that before. I'm going to screenshot that. So this is from Bird Shaman. A lot can be solved by not cutting paper lions. So you're creating the own lions yourself? So like you're scared of your own shadow sort of thing? Is that what you mean by paper lions? And many spirits grow when you mentioned their name. Okay. Yes. What you focus on, you create, is what Bird Shaman is saying. So that's why I'm here today in front of you guys today. Because I just kept thinking to myself, no, this ain't right. And so I would wear a mask just to survive sometimes. And then I would even start mirroring bad behavior. And then all of a sudden now I'm way on this side and I'm going, whoa. And now I'm here. I'm a very influential mental health advocate in my community. I get results. But I had to learn to really think deliberately. When I wake up, what am I going to accomplish? Where am I going? What am I going to do? And that's what I'm doing even with this platform right now. Like we've got new modulators here now, but I've been watching for a long time, knowing I'm going to need modulators. And I'm looking at people who know how to bring that value to a conversation. They're going to have qualities of kindness. They're going to have qualities of the ability to hold a conversation and be able to see more than one point of view. And there's a number of things that when I'm like, yes, I want that person for a mod, if they decide they want to join, I'm going to ask them. So, I mean, I'm living deliberately. And so even with this platform, there's so much that people can't see, but I got to keep it back here. And all of a sudden the right moment comes and it's like, yep, I've been looking for a mod. And I wasn't looking for women. I wasn't looking for men or transgender people. I was looking for the right person. So to me, it doesn't matter if you're male or female or transgender, or if you just landed in a spaceship and you came from outer space and you landed here, but you bring value where we're creating space for us to coexist with different opinions instead of fighting each other. Well, everybody, the world's always going to be that way where they're, no, it's only Muslim, no, it's only Catholic, no, you can only be black, no, you can only be white. People are always going to do that. But we can find some spaces where we can sort of create space to coexist where you got something to grab onto that sort of pulls you up out of that. Yeah, and everyone sees things differently. Nobody is right or wrong. Now, I look at that a little bit different. There are some there is some things in organized bullying and organized crime where yeah, bring it to the table and we can agree to disagree, but I'm looking at something as dead wrong or partly wrong. It's either abusive or oppressive, but what I'm creating space for is that you also have the right to tell me that I'm wrong, and I can be wrong. And so in talking, it also provides me opportunity to see where I'm wrong, because nobody's all right or wrong, that's for sure. But there's certain things that are deal breakers. And but for the most part, you're right. For the most part, I'm not right, you're not wrong. But what I have learned through my experience with organized bullying is, yeah, there's things that are dead wrong. And I was even mirroring that. And now I have to step back and go, okay, well, if I don't want to mirror that, why did I mirror that in the first place? What's going on? And now, like, let me just go back up here. Where's my friend there? Bird Shaman said, like, we're creating our own reality. Okay, yeah, and that's, I live very on purpose now. Yes, there are racist people in every city. Very good. Yes, I agree with that. There are more racist black people than white people. My black friend warned me not to come to his part of the town at times. I've never had to warn him. And you know, my experience has been so much different. I find like the white people where I live are more racist. When I meet black people or people from India, I meet people from Iran, I just can't believe how beautiful they treat people. I just can't believe how that conversation that I have with them or when I meet them is just so beautiful. It just seems to me that white people where I live, they just seem, not all, I find white people where I live more prejudiced than blacks, East Indian, Sikh, Hinduism. I find so much more kindness comes from them. And I don't just mean once in a while, I mean repeatedly. And it never used to be that way. That became at the turn of the century where I found that white people were really nice too. But now, you know, I met this one lady downtown. She was from Russia. This is the winter before last. And I was downtown and she was new in town. She was from Russia. And she comes up to me. She was a really young girl and she was in her 20s and she was so wonderfully happy. And she was white. Well, she was from Russia. She came over to me. I'm looking for this donut shop. And I was just like, I said, wow. I said, you're not from here, are you? And she goes, yeah, no, I'm from Russia. I said, I can tell. I said, you're just so nice. Like in Canada, before the turn of the century, people acted just like you. Hi, how you doing? And everything was wonderful. Now it feels like all the white people here are just like they're angry and I'm the boss and you're not the boss and it's like I don't feel those things. But I was able to call her out and say, you're not from here. Like you're just so bubbly and happy and you're coming in, you're talking to me. I said, nobody does that. It's just like I said, it's just so refreshing to talk to you. Blue, yes, there are rays. Okay. I've lived in what's considered the most racist sundown town in Texas, Vidor, Texas. Look it up. The reality is, I never witnessed anyone to be racist. Okay. Blue, I totally believe that we do have racism here in Dundee. It's everywhere. I agree with that too. We have had protests against the illegal immigrants raping the young girls in our town, so I related to that. And so it was really strong with immigrants. Okay, so really, okay, so I totally agree that we do have racism here in Dundee. Racism is everywhere. And rape, that's vicious. Oh, God. UK has too many illegal immigrants here. UK, okay. That's interesting, Scottish lass. Okay. See, because I see the world, what's happening is it's all becoming one. Like right now, Canada, when you get on the bus, sometimes I think I'm in India. Like, and it wasn't like that 30 years ago. I go in and it's like, I think I'm in a different country because now Canada is so diverse. So there's so many different kinds of people that it's not just white people everywhere. Mike, what a pickle. Isn't this fun today? This is it's always different. Like today's political, we're talking politically. How's Mike today? Oh, I got a smiley face from Mike. Thank you. I saw a black woman in your YouTube telling her followers. Okay, so I saw a black woman in YouTube telling her followers to commit violence against white people. I've never seen a white person do that in my entire life. Yeah, you're like I can really feel like you've definitely clarified your vibe and your perspective. I'm really hearing that. And Mike says, thank you, lass. Blue, it's over here too. It's so scary now. I think England is worse, though. There's so many, I don't know what the solution is. You know what I think is going on? This is my personal opinion. I feel it's one what is it called? One world leadership, where you have one ruler and they dominate the whole world. And I think that's what's going on now. Because like even if I get on the bus here, like this is not what Canada was, right? It's all mixed, which is beautiful. But I feel that it's going to be a one person that wants, it's one group and they're fighting over it, that they rule the entire world. So when you're talking about what you're talking about, Scottish lass, it's just a hunch that I have. It's my feelings about what's going on is that, and I said this in 2013, 2014, and this was when I was being majorly misdiagnosed. And so everybody was just labeling me psychotic. And it was around Christmas, we had everybody over. And we're all talking politically, and I said, we're dealing with a Hitler right now. And everybody looks at me, oh, she's psychotic. But it's like, I really feel that what's going on is that every generation, see, in World War II, World War I and World War II, you know, bombs and blowing everybody up, that's still going on, but there's something bigger going on here. Because what I'm witnessing, and I've witnessed this with my own grandchild, is I've seen them being born with a specific level of skills that were innate to them. I've seen those skills being stripped from her, and then I've seen them reprogram her. And what I realize now is that didn't just start at the turn of the century. This after World War II, so we have World War I and we have World War II. Well, we have many wars in that. But what they got really clever and smart and realized the way it's like leading the lambs to the slaughter. You're actually getting everybody to fight each other, and you're also getting everybody to, you're not fighting them, you're just slowly breaking it down, reprogramming, and then people are just gonna show up and volunteer and do it. Because if you look at how society's changed, what I feel where that's coming from is that after World War II, we're still dealing with Hitler, but it's the Hitler that went, okay, if you're throwing bombs, people are going to run. But if you just slowly break down each generation, and then you take their innate skills away, and then you reprogram them. And that's what we're doing. We're being reprogrammed. But it's very, very slow. And so after World War II, in the late 40s and the 50s, and each year they realized in order to win and get world dominance by one group, it's being done very, very slowly, and they're actually getting you to cooperate. So you're just walking along with it. But it's so slow that you don't notice the change. And that's what happened after World War II from my perspective. And so in 2013, 2014, I said that while I was being majorly misdiagnosed. I was really sick. And I said, we're dealing with Hitler, except for, and don't get me wrong, yeah, the bombs are being thrown, people are being killed, in Ukraine and in Iraq and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But the biggest part here is we're just being programmed. And this started after World War II, and they realized to get world dominance, you just slowly change the people with each generation and a generation. And now we got these groups controlling, and the way that they control it doesn't have to be any truth to anything. It's just, we're the boss, you have to submit, you do what we say or else. And they'll attack your living, they'll attack your relationships. But what they learned from me is like I was non-conformable, because I think part of that is the autism and dyslexia, because my brain, I've never lost that ability to think like a child. And I think that has a lot to do with the autism and dyslexia. So I've got a very creative brain that has to survive in a certain way. And I just literally could not skip the rope. I only know how to be me. And so it baffles them. And even I love my own company. I love to putter. I could just walk around. I'm at the river, or there's this flower. And there's that saying, you cannot control someone that is not afraid to be alone. And so people, even now, like I spend so much time alone and I'm so happy. It's like, I would rather be alone and only have a very few people that just bring the right energy to the table where, viva la difference, you're wonderful, so am I. You're not perfect, neither am I. And you bring this energy to the table where you're not trying to tear each other down like crabs in a bucket. You want to see other people succeed. So people are building you up and you're building them up. And that's like my friend Shaman. Let me see the name again. I'm so bad at this. Hang on a second. That's why I screenshot it. But you said earlier that I live deliberately now, and I do not associate with energies. That's why when I'm bringing mods in, like say for example, Blue, I would not make you a mod, because just from my perspective, it's just a little bit too black and white. But I need people to think for themselves. And I know, like Scottish Last, I'm trying to show people, like, yes, show up, but don't even try to agree with me. Just take it and tell us what you think. because that's what makes a really good team, is when the mods that come forward can even say, well, I don't see it that way, Julie. Or I can say to them, I don't see it that way, but you create that space. But does that mean that Blue didn't bring incredible value to this conversation? Absolutely. Because what that showed is now we have mods that sort of know how to bring that all in and create space for that to hold it there. That doesn't mean that we get to cancel you out. It just, and to me, it's brave and courageous of you to come forward, Blue. And so to me, that shows leadership quality. Quality is that you're going to show up and you're going to give your opinion, and that brings value. Because Dr. Phil said, wouldn't you like to know what people think? Don't you think there would be value? Like if you can actually really understand what people think. So if I'm coming into something and I'm solving a problem, I might want to know that 90% of the people in the US don't think there's prejudice and 10% do. So if it really exists and 90% think it doesn't, that as a programmer, that tells me what I need to do or not do when we're building things to empower people. That's just an example. And see, I just went right over Gail, and this is why I need my mod so bad, because I don't remember Gail. Thank you. Hi, Gail. Thank you, Scottish Lass. Where did she say that? She said, hello, Gail. Now I've lost that place. Welcome, Gail. Thank you, Scottish Lass. This is where it really helps, because my brain is always scanning for conversation, and I skip over little hellos. My brain just literally doesn't see it. I'm sort of just driven by, I guess, conversation and Tibet. And Mike, hello. I'm right here. Hi, Mike. I see you waving. Okay. And you see, another thing here I want to say in your defense, Blue, is you're absolutely right. Anybody, like, even though I just can't believe how wonderfully I'm treated by Black people, Hindu people, and Sikh. They're not perfect. They're people. And yes, I've seen them be prejudiced too, just not on the same level that I've seen white people be prejudiced. And Galax Massey said, thanks, Lass. Julie, hadn't saw you yet. Mike, yeah, who, Julie? Yeah, I just saw that. Mike. He's a regular. And Blue, it's unhealthy for someone going around making these claims. But we have to have space for that. From my point of view, we have to have space for that. So if it's unhealthy and we shut the door because you think it's unhealthy, what happens from my perspective when you do that? Let's say 90% of it was false claims, but 10% was right. Once you shut that door, then you can't balance power for the 10%. And that's why you're right. A lot of claims can be false. And it's tricky. It is. And that's why, like Mike says, it's tricky. But that's why when I was with that one family, and, you know, the dad had said to me when he had seen the work that I'd done with his kids and the family, he just said, there's no social worker, there's no doctor, there's nobody, a professional that can do for my kids what you do. And so I think that's what always, I'm very influential in my community. When I was counseling, my counselor's name was Chris. She said, Julie, you have to remember, it's like you have a superpower. She said, so that's sort of why I freak people out, because I can kind of go in and everybody's talking, but I can see through the words, because you see, you can say whatever you want, but eventually you can say what you want, but your body doesn't lie. So I might come in and people say, oh, we don't like this person, don't talk to them, they're no good. Well, I just go around and eventually you can actually see what's really going on. And I thought everybody could do this. But I think it has something to do with autism and dyslexia, the way my brain has to break everything down into all these components, and then I build it up, and then I can figure it out. And so when you say it's tricky, that's why so many people, I've helped so many people because people will come to me to help because I actually get results. And my social, not my social worker, but my counselor, Chris, she said, you have to remember it's like a superpower. So when you go into a group, they're used to sheep. They're used to saying, this is how it goes. Don't question us. This is how it goes. Do it or else. And I come in and I can go, well, that doesn't seem right. Well, there's the power imbalance here. Well, here, everybody gets candy, and I can make it balance out for everybody, even the bully. And that's why, like my counselor said, you have to remember it's like a superpower. They're not used to that. You don't conform. I come in and I go, no, what's the right thing to do? What's the wrong thing to do? Well, I'm not going to do that. Oh, what's that over there? You said you don't want to do that either. Well, here, I'll create space for you so that you have a voice. And I actually get it done. And it's just, I think that has a lot to do with the autism. Because you're constantly trying, since I was born, like my mom thought I was deaf because I wasn't responding to my environment before the age of 1, like my sisters were. So I wasn't deaf, it's just that I couldn't follow the conversation. So people were talking, but I wasn't responding in the same way my sister's doing, meaning my brain was operating differently. I had very slow processing speed. And so there actually becomes a bit of a irony to that I can solve problems, social problems on a level that sort of baffles even professionals sometimes. Are you from Austin? Who are you asking? I'm from Prince George, British Columbia, Canada. And Scottish Lass is Dundee, Scotland. It's offensive to me for you to keep saying sundown towns in the US when I live here and you don't. And again, I just want to repeat that if, let's say you're 90% accurate, that's not true. If I say, okay, we're not right here, we're not going to say there's no sundown towns. We have to hold a space for both of you to say it's completely wrong and for the other person to say, no, this is really going on. Because like I said, even if it's just 90% inaccurate, there is likely an element of truth. And if these people are scared and living in really difficult reality because of abuse, let's even say if it was 2% or 3%. It's why you leave the table open for everything and you put everything on the table. I wonder if Tony has had a bad experience with someone to make him this way. And yeah, see, I don't know. I don't know. In my ability to read people, I get the feeling that he's an exceptional individual. Like when he's talking, his intelligence, his intellectual level, like this, like I can always eventually see your lips are moving and you're saying this, but I can actually tell what you're really doing. I can see who you really are. I can see into your soul. I think Tony is a really good person. But what I do is I never lock in. I never go, oh, well, he's just a good person and that's it. No, I always keep scanning. I'm always scanning and looking for truth, looking for truth, looking for truth. Never lock in and say that's the answer. Always keep open and looking for new information coming in. I wonder if Tony has had a bad experience and with someone that makes him this way. Well, if it's actually happening, then yeah, he would be having that experience. And then if he was paranoid, well, then that would be a real mental health challenge. And my response would not be anger towards that person, but empathy. And then as a programmer, if I was in that situation assisting, then I would be able to look in. And as a programmer, what I do is I break skills down into, you're looking for what is called the closest approximate behavior. So when I took behavior management at CNC here in Prince George several years ago for my job, it was one of the courses I took. One of the things you're always looking for, so say someone was paranoid. What I would be looking for, say if they're saying I'm being bullied, and say I'm really thinking, I don't see the grounds, but now I'm looking, you're really scared. Like in your mind, this is really happening. What I would do as a programmer is I would be, and this is powerful. This is absolutely powerful. And this is part of why I get results. The results that I do is I'm looking for the closest approximate behavior. So let's just say Tony's paranoid. And I'm looking and I'm going, yeah, that's got to be very painful if that's, because that's real to them. And so if something happened where he went through the town and nothing happened and he was, oh, well, that wasn't too bad. Right away, you jump on that right away. You're looking for the closest approximate behavior away from the paranoia. And then you get really excited about it. See, because you're reinforcing that behavior. So, so it may be 98% of what that person is doing is paranoid, but if they do even the inkling of a behavior that is showing that, well, maybe this isn't, you go, oh, tell me about that. What are you thinking? And you get really excited and you're rewarding that part. Now that person may always experience paranoia, but you're sort of building them a bridge to sort of be able to get a view of what might really be going on. And I'm just really skilled at that. And that's called the closest approximate behavior. And with behavior management, the most powerful thing that I ever learned is the closest approximate behavior. So you're looking for the closest behavior because you actually want that person to succeed, right? So why would I be angry at you if you're paranoid? I'd be actually feeling for you. I'd have, well, let's see if we can fix that. And you might not be able to, because a mental illness can be a lifelong journey. Let's just give respect and good vibes. Don't forget, we all come and go the same way. Yes, we're all people. We all have the same needs. Okay, so life is too short. Let's make it easier with love. Yes, love. Try it, guys. It works. Yes. Love. When you actually care about people. Yeah. Blue, why would they lie? There are a lot of Black people in the US that hate white people and express that hatred every day of their lives. White people don't do that. Oh, yeah, see, and I'm having the opposite experience here. And I am white, and I just feel so much more loved. I feel like when I meet people in the street, the Black people, they'll just sit and talk to you. And it's like, viva la difference. They like that you're different. You like that they're different. And they're just so nice and genuinely kind. And when you leave, you feel this beautiful energy that just, I could just use more of that. Okay, yeah, and see, with blue, I'm finding it very black and white. What, just a minute. Now, let me give you an example of that. I don't know. Okay, no. Chow, thank you. We need good vibes here, too. Too much war in the world. Yeah. And Mike says yes. Okay. God bless the world from Eddie. Both sides. All sides. We're all from Earth. And Eddie says hi. Hey, I didn't miss that because Scottish lass. I got that one before. Okay. Are there racist people in Texas? Yes. but it's very small, uneducated, and insignificant part of the population. And Tar says, hi, welcome. Scottish Lass says, welcome, Tar. And Tar says, may I ask a question? Mike, interesting. Okay, so Blue says, you've mentioned sundown towns every single stream for days in a row, and it's getting offensive. Interesting. And Scottish Lass says, yes, Tar, of course you can. I don't even know. I'd have to look back to see how we started talking here. Check my page. We're about to go gambling. Mike, your loss. Who? I'm not sure. Mike, I might be talking to Blue. Tar says, what are the happiest and hardest moments you've gone through, and what is your advice? Oh, I did a live the other day on this, and I shared my story. What are the happiest and hardest moments you've gone through, and what is your advice? It's really, I had to learn to listen to my inner compass. So when there's pressure to conform, and that's why I say, our jails are full of scapegoats. Because when you look at the pressure to conform, and I've actually witnessed just young people, and I'm just like, how did they not end up there? And just even the pressure I've been under to conform and how hard that was on me, permanent brain damage, and as a younger person, to listen to your inner compass. Keep listening to that. Because what you would do is you would listen to that, and then I'd be like, smarten up, don't do that. What's the matter with you? Get over here with everybody else. And so then you've got your mask on, and you're just masking, and you're trying to, and it's causing problems. And I really learned to listen to myself, because you do have that inner compass, that inner voice that says this is wrong, this is right. And people will show you who they are. Like when people show you who they are, believe them, because they will show you who they are. And it's just my inner compass. And don't sweat the small stuff. Like, don't take it personally. Like that approval. We all want approval, but don't be afraid to have a conversation where we disagree, and then you don't have to. So I guess, okay, so my feedback would be, yeah, I listen to myself, and I look to see who people are, and I figure it out. And I live very deliberately now. And boundaries, lots of boundaries, and yeah, that's a boundary. And I connect with positive energies. Okay, so Scottish, you from Scotland. This is Scottish Lass from Scotland, Dundee. And so, and see, now there's that energy, and this is, see, so Blue, and this is just my perspective. It's sort of a black and white way of thinking. And what I always try to be is gray, stay gray, and always look at every point of view, every side. But if you look at Blue's passion about what Blue feels like, that it begins to show you why it gets scary. Because people do get really passionate about what they believe in. And this is what it is. And if you don't agree and they become angry, there can be some major consequences, especially if they're in a position of power. And so, and Scottish Slash says, Blue, please don't get angry, keep calm. And that's one of the things that I've noticed in group dynamics. Like we sacrifice the individual, and whoever gains the upper hand, they rule what goes and what doesn't go, whether it's right or wrong. And they're going to be angry if you challenge that. They're going to be, because it's this, it's nothing else. And if you can't march this way, then you're just being a brat. You're being, instead of going, hey, we're not all, yes, we're all from Earth. We're all people. We all have the basic needs, but we're also all different. And we can actually learn to coexist and make space for that. And Blue says, last, I rarely get angry. I'm being direct, and I'm not angry. So there's two people. See? Because we see how each and every one of us are sort of coming up with something a little bit different. And what each and every one of us are doing in this moment has so much value for listeners. And that's how you solve problems, because when you can see the number of us talking and you get the different perspectives, it actually gives you the framework if you're going to be trying to solve a problem, to show you what's really going on. And that helps solve problems. In Char Ori, very nice pubs in my souvenirs, and great people in Scotland. My favorite, what is it called? It's called Outlander. No, it's a series. Is Outlander, and it's mostly in Scotland. The stories in Scotland. Oh, that's just my escape show. I love that show. Love Claire. Tar, think Julie will get to your answer soon. Just very public. Tar, think Julie will get to your. Oh, what was the question? Can you remind me? Did I miss the question? Remind me of the question. What was the question? Oh, see, this is why I need mods. See, I'm not ignoring anybody, but my brain is Okay, you got to remind me. Tar, I think Julie will get to your answer soon. She's reading the chat at the moment, and I can't remember. So Scottish Lass, what was the question? This is why we have mods. See, because what's going to happen now, because of my brain work, somebody will think, oh, well, I guess my comment wasn't that important, right? Where it is. But I'm going to miss stuff. And okay, so ask the question again. Black. All good. Cha, thank you for that compliment. I love the people in my country, and they are very friendly here. I agree, Scottish Lass, says Chaori, 100%. Yes, I'm thinking I'm going to close because I'm going to go to the river, and it is a lot of work. I love talking and creating this platform for conversation. It's empowering, and I just think we're doing a wonderful job here. Okay. Sorry says, would you date a guy who's Char Ori says, are you feeling okay? Yes, I've probably got to close here in a minute, but now I do have to see what Tar's question was before I go, because I would have overlooked that, and that's where Scottish Lass is. She's just a real help. Okay. Would you date a guy who's 3 foot 11 inches tall? Welcome in, Charles. I am simply asking you to stop perpetuating the sundown towns. Well, actually, what we're doing here, what we've created is a platform here. Even what we're talking about is now people listening in. They might say, well, good for you, Blue, standing up and saying this isn't true, because it isn't true. And so what we've created is questions. And so what you've done and what I've done is I've the sun downtowns. I hear what you're saying, but you've done a really good job of bringing that in now. And what that does is it makes people think, and it makes me think. So now I'm going to be paying more attention. And but I can also want to make a point here on that let's say it was true. I can see if Tony was watching in right now, but I'd be kind of scared maybe to say anything if I was him. So let's just say it was true. Like, could that cause problems for him and make it worse? And so we've created an argument for both sides. But at the same time, with his skills, because I can see that he's got skills, that he might, to protect himself, be holding himself back and not talking about it. He might be listening in, but he's almost being wise, going, yeah, I'm going to stay quiet because I might be safer that way. And I'm getting hearts just kind of showing that, that's sort of very likely. And that's how I can see into problems. See, I can see. That's why I'm really good at solving them. So you and I don't have to stop talking about it, but you don't have to stop saying, you know what? It ain't true. And you're making US look bad. Stop saying that. Then I could say, okay, well, maybe it's not true. But I've spent some time reading the energy and interacting with Tony, and I think he's, as far as for people go, he seems dynamic to me. But that doesn't mean that he is. But that's what this platform is creating. And so now we leave. I'm still allowed to talk about, well, is there a sun downtown? And Tony might be sitting back going, well, I'm just going to stay quiet, because if I say anything here, now that guy's pretty angry. And so that might cause me trouble, so he can stay quiet. Like, I don't know. This is just speculation. And you're allowed to say, hey, quit saying that. US is great, and you're misrepresenting it. You see, now you got all those things on the table. And if any one of us gets knocked off the table, and I can say, well, why don't you just stop showing up? And no, we don't want to hear that. Well, no, I'm also being a bully to you, because you were allowed to really, and if that's what you really think, you're allowed to say that you feel like it's even slander to the US. So, but with organized bullying, that's part of what gets its powers, when you're not allowed to talk. And that's what this is. Okay, so I'm taking one person's statement and repeating it daily. See, and I wasn't even aware I was saying it daily. I knew it was coming back up in conversations. I didn't realize I was saying it daily. But I noticed it has come up from time to time. Thank you for all the hearts. Oh, moderators. Yeah, was I saying modulators again? I know I keep saying modulators, but okay, I wrote it down. Where is that thing here? Hang on a second here. Right here. So, a friend of mine, I can't remember, okay, who wrote this to me? Maybe they're listening right now, but they said it's moderator, Julie, not modulator. They said, but modulator is a good alternative name because it means to raise the frequency. And so even though I say modulator, and I keep saying modulator, who said that to me just the other day in one of my videos? They said, it's actually not so bad calling you a modulator, because it's an alternative name because it means to raise the frequency. And so the moderators, the value they bring and the specific energy they bring and what they do, it raises the frequency, but it also, it's just a managing that goes on. So it changes the frequency. So moderators, okay. I've got to stop saying modulators. Blue Julie, don't know anything about it until Tony mentioned it sparks her interest to find her truth. And exactly. And so in my mind, if I just go, oh no, you're wrong and Tony's right, well, we're controlling conversations. Whereas I have a hunch that he's a pretty good person. I've read that situation. That's what I feel. That doesn't make me right. It just means that I need to come up with my own conclusions, just like you have to come up with your own conclusions. And that's where I'm at right now. And it's just on the table. But I remain open to go, wow, is that really wrong? And so say 5 years from now, I go, boy, was I ever wrong on that? And that's what this creates, is the opportunity to sort of go, is there more to this than I need to see? Is there something I'm not seeing? And then you stay open. Mike, it's windy here. In Ontario, Charles, this Scottish Lass says, Charles, this is about lovely community. You're welcome to talk about anything here. Yes. Blue, plenty of towns don't talk to strangers no matter what you look like. You know what somebody said to me last year? They go, I'm glad people are sort of the way they are in Prince George, because then it keeps the town small and nobody wants to come here. I was like, you see, it's not just me. They actually liked it that in Prince George now people are just, they seem kind of thug sort of. It's like biker gang sort of, like, yeah, this is how it goes sort of thing. I could be wrong. I mean, if anybody in Prince George wants to come forward and say, we don't see it that way, Julie, then it would be great to hear your perspective on that. Plenty of towns don't talk to strangers. I am very white. Once I stopped in a small town and asked directions somewhere, and the men said, you can't get there from here. Oh, like how did you take it when they said that? And they laughed at me and then walked away, yeah. And I was still lost. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and cliques. There are groups and cliques that form, and community is really important, though you have to keep a regulator on how that is managed, because when one person's perspective takes the upper hand and that rules no matter what, it's just not good. Okay. But if that had happened to a black person, they'd assume it was because they were black. That could happen, yeah. You're right. They could assume that was because they were black, yeah. Thanks, Lass, from Charles. I do have a lot on my plate. Okay, so Scottish Lass Blue, I've heard of towns in America a white person can't walk through. You might not come out alive, so works both ways. Okay, see? You see what I mean now is that, see, Blue, so Scottish Lass says, Blue, I have heard of towns in America a white person can't walk through. You might not come out alive, so both works. Now see, and this is what a great moderator does, is, and that's what I have to create, is not to, because a lot of times in groups, the people, there's somebody that leads. So I mean, this is my platform, and then everybody will just sort of say what the person that's sort of running a certain thing, they'll just try to please that person by saying what they want to hear. Whereas this is what I'm looking for. So Scottish Lass now says, Blue, I've heard of towns in America a white person can't walk through as because they might not come out alive. So it works both ways. Okay. See, now you're getting me to think. And that's what this is how you find truth. You're judging the US as a Canadian and making us racist. No, because actually it was just a few towns they said that were sundown towns, that not all towns in the United States are racist. Okay, so with me saying that, what you're saying is that you feel I'm making America look bad. You seem to be having a good day. I hope this isn't too much. Yeah, I need to wind down now and get to the river. Yeah, I need to do that. But Scottish Lass, oh, Charles, well, you are welcome to vent here. And your worries. Yes, you're right. I know what you mean by being too much for me because my brain is working really hard right now, but I love learning about the world. And right now, so when I pull away from here, okay, Scottish Lass is even saying, yeah, in the United States, she's heard of where, as a white person, you can't walk through. And so now I walk away, okay, well, because what I do is I represent people. It doesn't matter what color you are. And even animals, like animals have rights. People have rights. Oh, Charles, you are welcome to vent here and talk your worries away. We are here to help. Mike, yes. And then it's, guys, calm down. We're all humans. After all, let's focus on the best parts of us. And that's what you always, okay, now we're done. And it's like you close a door. Because, I mean, we're all speaking with passion. And so now what you do is, like right now, I close the door. And then I'll have little thoughts about what Blue said, and then think about what all the different people said. But now you sort of close the door, and I'm not just going to be, like, I'm not going to be mad, or I'm just going to close the door, and then I'm going to switch into something else. Hang on a sec, guys, calm down. We're all humans. After all, let's focus on the best parts of us. Exactly. Let's focus on the best parts of us because we are all humans. We are wonderful and we are not perfect. There's already enough mess on our planet. Being from the UK, it's hard to explain myself. That's Charles. Blue, no one said that I can see both sides. Some colored people don't like us either. That's the way the world is, and we can't change it. And that's such a good point from my perspective, Scottish Lass, because it's always going to be there. Like the way the world is changing and we're being controlled, yeah, it's going to keep going that way. It's creating a platform that gives people somebody to your voice can be heard instead of just silence and oppressed. And it doesn't matter whether you're black or white or this religion or that religion. Each side can be a bully. You're right. I do know that is true. And that's really, from my perspective, I really like that point that you made, Scottish Lass. Yeah, the world has gone mad. That's true. It's just that she keeps saying sundown towns. Okay, so, all right. So from my perspective here, okay, so when I walk away here today, is I'm learning how to speak better. I'm learning so I can think about how to maybe communicate what I'm saying without making it just sound like, oh yeah, somebody told me this, so I believe it 100%. that there's always two sides to a story. Like Dr. Phil says, no matter how flat you squish a pancake, it still has both two sides. Okay, I'm going to really think about what you're saying, and when I talk in the future, just really think about that there's always two sides to a story. Okay, and you sound very proud of America. You're really defending your country. Okay. We're defending your country today. No blue, I don't think it's the reality. I get worried about the white people will become the minority. Yeah, and I think that's actually happening. Yeah. I actually think that's happening. What you just said, the white people become the minority. And that's really what this platform is about, because that is, yeah, I've seen, that there's some, that's, and what I also want to say about that is that what I've noticed is it doesn't seem to matter which side gets power, they'll behave just as badly as when they, so say there was slavery, the blacks in slavery. Now say all the blacks got all the power. Well, and unfortunately, it always seems whoever gets most of the power, they don't, of course it's wrong, slavery. But when you see the tables turn, I'll give you an example of that. Women's lib. We needed that, but from my perspective, it goes overboard. So when we were living in a certain time that Bush, somebody said to me the other day, they said, their wives were traded for goats in some states. And I mean, yeah, I think we might need some women's lib, you know what I mean, if you're being traded for a goat. But what I find anytime, so there need to be women's lib to empower women, because I think men were treating women badly, not all, and women needed to claim their power. But what I've noticed with women claiming power, that women can be just as evil and nasty as men. So in the liberation, where women became more liberated, what they showed us is when women started taking on the more masculine energy in order to survive, because of all that how it went, they showed that they can be as equally nasty, vindictive, jealous, and horrible to people as men were. So once they gained the power, they were just as equally as rotten as they were wonderful. And anytime, from my experience, when you look at any group where they had to stand up for their rights because they're being abused, it doesn't seem to sort of meet a balance. It always seems it goes too far the other way. And that's my perspective on women's lib, that we needed it because it was unfair. But it just goes to a point where you're just proving that you're just as rotten as men were. You're just as great as men were, and you're just as rotten as they were. And I also have another point about that. I don't want to talk about it right now because I got to start winding down. I'm ashamed and embarrassed about the past racism in the U.S. Okay, yeah, so you knew it was there at one time, and right now what you're saying is, when I'm just saying, oh, this is horrible about the sundown towns, you're actually, in that statement, you're acknowledging that you knew it was like that at one point, but what you're saying is that you feel that when I'm talking about it, that we're not seeing the full picture of what's really going on right now. I'm just wondering here. Oh yeah, there's so much conversation. I've got to, okay, Tor. I'm down at the bottom. Can you remind me what Tor's question was? I'm down at the bottom again. I had to skip through everybody's comments, but Scottish Lass brought me back, and I would never have remembered that I forgot their question. I wouldn't even remember that they asked it. So could you remind me what Tor's question was? Hi, Sand Angel. See, my voice is like it's starting to go on me. It's starting to sound a little bit wheezy. Yes, Blue, it's been such a great chat. Thanks to you. Yes. And now I can sort of move away from there and go, okay, well, how do I see both perspectives here? And because Blue was very proud of the US and has stepped forward, standing up for their country. And I'm going to take a lot away here. Tar asked, what was the worst thing that happened to you? Oh, gosh. Maybe go in to my live from a couple days ago, because my friend Shaman sent me a beautiful message. It's like time for me to move on and not keep bringing up the past. And so I think that's true, that I'm sort of talking about things more generally than talking about the past. Like, so say if I were to bring up trauma right now, it just sort of keeps bringing it back and bringing it back. And part of it is dealing with the real issues at hand right now, bringing this platform forward for discussion. If you want to know a little bit about that, I think it's the day before yesterday, I think was when I did the live. And I talked a lot about a lot of trauma, a lot of things that happened. And it's not all, I mean, there's way more than that, but it's a little bit. Though, and I'm glad I did it, I think, because it also helps me bring me to a turning point where, you do at some point have to let go. Just a minute, Sand Angel, greatly miss you. Just a sec. Bird Shaman, we can learn so much from you. Yes, I actually screenshot the messages they send me so that I can read later. And so that's why I really took Bird Shaman's advice on it's time to don't keep reliving the past. And so right here, we're talking about issues, but more focused on, let's talk about them. Like Blue came forward, and I'm very proud of my country, kind of, I feel that energy, you're misrepresenting it. And so now I can walk away and sort of, just sort of rethink about how I thought about everything. I just started making this year's Driftwood Christmas tree. Oh, cool. Did you start your YouTube channel yet? That you were going to start so that I could see some videos of all your little collections, and I'm losing my voice. All my little collections and your little collections and the things that you make out of driftwood. Did you start a YouTube channel yet? Are you still thinking about it, or did you change your mind? Oh, Sand Angel, I'm so glad to see you. Keep going, Julie, from Charles Jones. Thank you, Charles. Yes, keep going, everybody. Thank you so much, Blue. You love your country, I think, Blue. And yeah, maybe I have to sort of adjust my perspective here a little bit. No, okay, so Sand Angel, no, unfortunately, I am so busy this last month at work. Ooh, and that's not always a good thing because of what you do. Okay. And Mike says, you all have been wonderful today. Thank you, Julie. Oh, that's awesome, Mike. Dear, oh, Julie, oh dear. Oh, Mike, you're always there. You've seen me in the up days and the down days. You've seen it all. And Bird Shaman, believe that everything is happening in this universe for a reason. A bad man can do, ha ha ha, he laughs. A bad man can do a good deed, even if it's to show others how not to be. Yes. It's like that saying, and I really try to remember this because when I was mirroring really bad behavior because of the abuse, and there was a part of me that just went dark. I was like, oh yeah, is this everybody's like this? Well, back at you. And this is the saying that I always remind myself of now if I'm being treated in a way I don't. Treat people, no, do not treat, okay, it goes like this. Do not treat people as bad as they are. Treat people as good as you are. Yes, I know it's your final month of search and rescue. I was thinking about that already. And you've been busy, so you're probably looking forward to that date. I sure would love it if you did a YouTube channel. Thank you for the amazing chat, everybody from Scottish Slash. Time for real retirement and hopefully gain some true inner peace. I don't know if you remember the last message I gave you, but I feel this is like a new chapter for you, as like for me and you. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that, not right this moment, but there's just been things that going on through my mind from this. This is the conversations you and I had. We learn from each other. Mike, so true. Good for you, Sand Angel from Scottish Lass. Yeah, his job is not for everybody, but somebody does have to do it. And bird shaman, and every outcome is medicine. Mike, yes, thank you to all. Okay, from Sand Angel. And Charles Jones, remember to go fishing and chill, treat people with respect, and be happy. And that's my new thing too, is peace, health, and happiness. Well said, Charles. Okay, and now I will close. This was very political today, and I learned lots. Thank you so much, everybody. And we'll see you. I'm going to the river later, so maybe we'll see you later. If not, we'll see you next time. Love, Cookum, which is Cree for your grandmother. See you later.